Live from your news leader, Local News 8 at 5:30 starts now.
Yep, I'm watching from out there. Yep, all there. Okay, bye.
Well, caught on camera, a police-involved shooting in Pocatello last night. Right now, the 17-year-old autistic boy shot by officers is fighting for his life, and members of the Pocatello community are voicing their outrage. Good evening, I'm Chris Nestman. Pocatello police responded to a domestic call Saturday evening involving an autistic teenager. Police say the boy was armed with a knife. The teen's family tells us he was shot 9 times. He is currently being treated at the Portneuf Medical Center, and Local News 8 has confirmed with the teen's family that he is in critical condition. Protesters have been rallying in front of the Pocatello Police Department in support of the autistic teen. Local News 8's Linda Larson is live in Pocatello with the latest developments on this story. Linda.
Chris, as you can imagine, there is outrage in Pocatello as people are protesting what happened with a 17-year-old teen who was autistic and shot by police in his yard. People are upset because there was a fence between the police. People are upset because of the amount of time that the police took before they started shooting. And we are going to show that video, and we're going to warn you that it is graphic in nature. We, of course, are going to stop the video right before it actually, so you don't see the teen get shot. But again, a warning, this video is graphic. You can see in the video autistic teenager Victor Perez holding a knife and threatening his mother. His family says he did have behavioral incidents because of his autism and mental and physical handicaps. Neighbors who shot the video said they called police hoping to help the family de-escalate the situation. However, when police arrive, that is not what happened.
Oh, yeah, they're here. Yep, I'm watching from out there. Yep, they're all there. Okay, bye.
He was having a really bad day with mental issues, but he wasn't chasing anybody, and everybody could easily get out of the reach of his knife. So this wasn't a really dangerous situation. And the police were more called to come in and help the family de-escalate and get it under control. And this is the biggest tragedy. I witnessed it, and it was really tough on me and my son to watch that. And I just want to send out my deepest sympathies to the family. And we were trying to help you. We weren't trying to bring a firing squad down to Harrison Street.
He tried to stop him. He was here. He tried to stop the officers. The officers just came. They didn't even say what's going on. The kid was there. He was already on the floor. He was standing. He was not going after police. He have impairment. He can barely walk. He can barely walk. And people who is around here, they can tell that.
Victor's aunt tells us that he is fighting for his life in the hospital.
Now today they told me they have to cut his leg, but he's so weak that he might not survive. So we're still here waiting for the doctor to tell us.
Now, again, those doctors tell us that they are expecting the worst. That's what they've told the family, is that they are, in fact, expecting the worst. And as you can see, it is pretty loud down here at this protest. People in Pocatello are angry about what has happened. They are angry that the response did not include more of a de-escalation. Now, I'm here with Dylan Harrison. Dylan, you're one of the ones that is down here protesting. You saw the video. Tell me how you felt and what you saw.
It was horrifying seeing the police show up to respond to a child who was clearly experiencing a mental health crisis, and to meet that scenario with immediate and unnecessary, potentially lethal force. Within 30 seconds of arriving, Pocatello police, 4 officers opened fire on that child. Again, firing, I believe it was 9 shots within just a few seconds. And luckily, so far, the child has survived. I pray that he pulls through. I hear he's already lost a leg, and that's just horrifying. And it highlights a much larger systemic issue that police respond with unnecessary force when they do not need to, when the public needs support and help in scenarios with mental health and minors and our society's most vulnerable who are met with the worst force. And we're out here today demanding that these 4 officers involved be held accountable for what they've done, the damage they've done, and the distrust they've placed in our community.
Okay, talk about that a little bit. Our community has typically been one that trusts the police. How do you think that this is going to change that?
I can't imagine anyone in the community trusting the police after this. They, again, were called to help with a minor having a mental health episode in his front yard, and they put him on death's door. He is in the hospital fighting for his life. I don't know about you. I wouldn't call the police for help. I wouldn't want my neighbors to call the police if I don't know that they're not going to show up, guns drawn, and immediately make the situation much worse than it would have been otherwise.
All right, Dylan, thank you for those insights. Again, the community outraged. They are feeling betrayed. They're feeling like different things should have been done. And this is going to be far from over. We're going to hear lots more about this through the next couple of weeks. We understand that there is going to be another protest next Saturday at this same time so that people can continue to voice their concerns about the way things are being handled with the Pocatello Police Department. Reporting live from outside the Pocatello Police Department, I'm Linda Larson, Local News 8. Chris.
Live from your news leader. Local News 8 at 6 starts now.
Tonight, we start with breaking news out of Pocatello. Good evening, everyone. I'm Doug Long.
And I'm Linda Larson. The Pocatello Police Department held a press conference about an hour ago on Saturday's officer-involved shooting of an autistic teenager. Local News 8 Sam Ross was there. And Sam, what did you find out?
Yeah, guys, this evening's press conference is one of the first updates we've gotten from city leaders since the officer-involved shooting on Saturday. Pocatello Police Chief Roger Shai said that an investigation into the incident is still ongoing. Until tonight, information from city leaders has been few and far between. Today, I reached out to the Pocatello City Mayor's office, Bannock County Sheriff's Office, Idaho State Police, and Pocatello Chubbuck School District 25, where the shooting victim is a student. The agencies were either not available for comment or refused to comment on the shooting. A popular Facebook group, Life in Pocatello, even announced today that their page would be put on hiatus due to the amount of outrage from people about the shooting. I'll keep looking for updates from city leaders in the coming days. Until then, live in Pocatello, Sam Ross, Local News 8.
Thank you, Sam. Tonight, an autistic teen in Pocatello remains hospitalized after being shot by police on Saturday.
The shooting was caught on camera. Now, a warning, the video is graphic and disturbing.
Yep, I'm watching from out there. Yep, they're all there. Okay, bye.
The teen's family says that he was hit 9 times by bullets from police. He has had multiple surgeries, including one to amputate his left leg due to his injuries. Now, in speaking with several of the Victor's family members, many of them, of course, are heartbroken. Local News 8's Chris Nestman has more from the family tonight. Chris.
Yeah, Linda and Doug, while much of the community is shocked, obviously the family is dealing with grief that is unimaginable to many of us.
He have the brain of a little kid, 5 years old. I always come every weekend, and that day I decided to go. I decided to go to Walmart first, and after I got out, they called me screaming.
Vasquez says when she finally arrived, she just saw blood and that police wouldn't even let her near the scene. Vasquez says her nephew does have his difficulties, but he can be calmed down, and until the event, he liked police. It's one of the many reasons why she doesn't understand why police used so much force.
All right, Chris, thanks for that. Now, since being posted on Local News 8's Facebook page, this video has been viewed more than 300,000 times, and the community of Pocatello has expressed concern and even outrage about how police reacted during this incident, even protesting outside City Hall yesterday.
David Archuleta is a former tribal judge, and he said that based on his training, there were other options for this scenario.
So, to me, what I saw on that tape was not the police procedure that I thought we should have been doing. Lethal force is only your last resort. Remember when they were showing us all the great little gadgets they have, like stun guns? They also have tasers that go far away. They have those, and then also they have those bean bags. All these are non-lethal methods, and I believe that our police department has been trained in those. And so why did we go immediately to deadly force? I do not understand that.
Live from your news leader, Local News 8 on Fox starts now.
The police chief is speaking out after an officer-involved shooting that took place over the weekend. Good evening. I'm Doug Long.
And I'm Linda Larson. On Saturday, Victor Perez, an autistic and physically disabled 17-year-old, was shot 9 times by Pocatello police officers in his family's backyard. He has had 3 surgeries, one of them to amputate his left leg after damage from the gunshot wounds. He remains in critical condition tonight, according to his family.
The shooting came after a neighbor noticed Perez handling a knife and swinging it at his mother. The incident all caught on camera. We warn you, this video is graphic and disturbing.
Yep, I'm watching from out there. Yep, they're all there. Okay, bye.
Now, this video is going viral on social media. As a result, administrators of the popular Facebook group Life in Pocatello announced that the page is taking a hiatus.
Because of the amount of outrage about the shooting from people in the area. For the first time since the incident, the Pocatello Police Department is commenting on the situation in a press conference. This is Pocatello Police Chief Roger Shai.
In situations like this, officers must make decisions in seconds. They assess threats not just to themselves, but to those nearby. In this case, 2 individuals were within a few feet of an armed, non-compliant individual. The risk was immediate and the situation rapidly evolving. The incident is being investigated independently by the Eastern Idaho Critical Incident Task Force, made up of outside independent agencies and a parallel internal investigation. Our thoughts are with everyone impacted.
During the conference, Chief Shai played the full 911 call placed to dispatchers from a neighbor on the day of the incident.
He also shared pictures of the knife Perez had in his possession. Local News 8 does not know if the officers involved are on leave. Reporters were not allowed to ask questions. Now, we spoke with several of Victor's family members. Many of them, of course, are heartbroken.
Local News 8's Chris Nessman is live in the studio and has more. Chris?
Yeah, that's right. While much of the community is, of course, in shock and trying to process what happened, for the family, this is something that is almost unimaginable to the rest of us.
He have the brain of a little kid, 5 years old. I always come every weekend, and that day I decided to go. I decided to go to Walmart first, and after I got out, they called me screaming.
When Vasquez finally made it to the house, police wouldn't let her get close. She says her nephew has his difficulties, but he can be calmed down. Vasquez says Victor genuinely liked the police prior to this, and it's why she doesn't understand why the police used so much force.
I want everybody knows that what they did here, it's murder. I know the position of the police, but only one can at least stop him. If you have to shoot, okay, only one. But what the heck, what was that? 9 bullets, they took 9 bullets out of that kid.
Victor's grandfather, who witnessed the incident, doesn't understand why things happened the way they did.
That
he was just trying to tell him not to shoot and everything, and I mean that was like his son. So
Either way, the family is now hoping and waiting for the best possible outcome, despite the fact that Victor's leg was amputated and doctors tell the family he will have permanent brain damage. Now, Local News 8 has been investigating this situation since it happened. We reached out to the Pocatello's mayor's office to address the concerns of the community, as well as the Bannock County Sheriff's Office and Idaho State Police to try to better understand things from a law enforcement standpoint. Finally, we reached out to Pocatello-Chubbuck School District 25, where the shooting victim is a student, to see if they were providing any extra counseling for students who may be impacted. All agencies were either unavailable for comment or declined to talk to us about the shooting. Reporting live in studio, I'm Chris Nessman with Local News 8.
Thank you, Chris. Now, Local News 8 will continue to ask questions and will continue to follow this story. And in the meantime, you can see our coverage on localnews8.com.
Live from your news leader, Local News 8 at 5 starts now.
Developing tonight, an autistic teen continues to fight for his life after being shot 9 times by Pocatello police on Saturday.
17-year-old Victor Perez is currently in a coma and hooked up to a ventilator. I talked to the family late this afternoon. They tell me that medical people have revived him twice and they are testing his brain function. They should have the results of those tests within the next couple of days. Perez is receiving care at Portneuf Medical Center, where he has undergone 3 surgeries, including the amputation of his left leg. He remains in critical condition. Now, there has been a large public outcry since the shooting happened.
Local News 8's Sam Ross has been looking for answers from police and public leaders. Sam, what have you found out today?
Today, Idaho State Police representatives told me the Critical Incident Response Task Force investigating the shooting is being spearheaded by either Bannock County or the state police themselves. Once the preliminary investigation is over, evidence will be handed over to an area prosecutor who will continue to look into the incident. Local people on Facebook announced a candlelight vigil and community prayer will be held here at Portneuf Medical Center on Saturday in a show of support for the boy who was shot, Victor Perez. Organizers will also be collecting donations for Perez and his family. Local News 8 will continue to provide updates as more information becomes available. In Pocatello, Sam Ross, Local News 8.
Also today, Pocatello denied our public records request for the body camera video of the shooting and the official police reports.
Live from your news leader, Local News 8 at 10 starts now.
An autistic teen continues to fight for his life tonight after being shot 9 times by Pocatello police on Saturday. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Doug Long.
And I'm Linda Larson. The shooting caught on camera. A warning, the video is graphic and disturbing.
Yep, I'm watching from out there. Yep, alert. Okay, bye.
17-year-old Victor Perez is currently in a coma and hooked up to a ventilator. I talked to the family late this afternoon. They tell me medical personnel have revived him twice and doctors are testing his brain function. They should have the results of those tests within the next couple of days. When I spoke to his aunt about the shooting, she was very emotional and wanted to see Perez survive no matter what it takes.
I'm just praying to God that he stay okay, even if he has brain damage. We're not going to disconnect him or anything because we love him a lot. I'm so sorry. It's too much.
Perez is receiving care at Portneuf Medical Center, where he's undergone 3 surgeries, including the amputation of his left leg. He remains in critical condition.
Local people on Facebook announced a community prayer and candlelight vigil, which will be held at the Portneuf Medical Center on Saturday in a show of support for Perez. Organizers will also collect donations for the Perez family.
Now, there has been a large public outcry about the way police have handled the situation. And today, people continue to speak up about what happened in Pocatello on Saturday.
He didn't look like a threat to me. He seemed like a cool kid. He minded his own business. He just stood in the yard.
My biggest question is why? Why did it have to escalate so quickly without any other precautions?
In a new campaign online, friends and family are asking the public to wear blue ribbons to show support for Victor. That is his favorite color. Now the story is now making national headlines. The video and coverage that we have been doing here at Local News 8 is being seen on all of the major networks, including stories on World News Tonight, CBS, CNN, and Fox. We will continue to bring you the updates as this story unfolds.
Meanwhile, Local News 8 has been trying to get more information from the Pocatello Police Department. Today, they denied our public records request for police body camera video of the shooting and the official police report.
Live from your news leader, Local News 8 at 10 starts now.
Tonight, Local News 8 is continuing to follow a major story out of Pocatello, which has now received nationwide attention. 17-year-old Victor Perez remains in a coma at a local hospital after being shot by Pocatello police on Saturday. Victor, who is disabled, is currently on a ventilator and unresponsive since the shooting. Neighbors say a lot of people have been driving by the house where it happened in that neighborhood, and they're now asking for space and privacy from the community as they process the situation and try to heal from the experience. Today, Local News 8 was able to get in touch with the person who's been taking to Facebook to help rally support for Victor Perez and his family. Since the shooting, Michelle Perez, who is not related to Victor Perez, has been busy raising awareness for the shooting on Facebook and organizing community events in support of Victor and his family.
I decided to get involved when I seen the heartbreak in the families. I understand their pain, so I decided that I needed to do something for them, and I acted on what I wanted to do.
Michelle Perez is organizing a candlelight vigil and community prayer event which will be held at Portneuf Medical Center this weekend. Michelle is also making t-shirts, car stickers, and ribbons which will be up for sale, with proceeds going to Victor Perez and his family. Michelle says attending events and donating to the family are just a few ways people can show their support.
I just want to let everybody know that there's many, many ways that we can be here for this family. We need to be there for them, behind them. We're the possibility to help them get through every day.
Now again, that candlelight vigil and prayer event will be at the Portneuf Medical Center on Saturday at 6 p.m. and donations will be collected at the event for the Perez family. Now, if you'd like to continue to follow our coverage on this story, you can do so at localnews8.com or by downloading our app.
Live from your news leader, Local News 8 at 10 starts now.
I just want justice. We want justice. We just want this to get solved and make sure that this doesn't happen to anybody in the future.
We begin our newscast tonight with breaking news out of Pocatello. Victor Perez, the 17-year-old disabled boy shot by Pocatello police, has been declared clinically brain dead.
Now, Victor's family tells me that they will take him off life support tomorrow after a candlelight vigil at the Portneuf Medical Center. This story has drawn national media attention since the video of the shooting went viral. The father and son who called 911 and recorded the video have also expressed their extreme grief. I was there when they met the Perez family for the first time to express their condolences. It's a story you'll see only on 8. On most days, you can find father and son Brad and Bridger Andres working together in the auto repair shop. On Saturday, they were doing just that. They had the garage door open, enjoying a nice spring day, when they noticed a disturbance in a neighbor's backyard behind the shop.
It was getting out of hand, and it didn't look like they were able to get things under control.
So my intent when I made that 911 call is I see somebody across the street with a knife. I don't want anybody to get hurt. I wanted police to show up, and talk to the man, and de-escalate. They did the exact opposite of that.
Within seconds of officers arriving, the situation escalated to a tragic conclusion. Victor Perez was shot 9 times and had to be revived on the scene. Do you feel any sense of responsibility?
Yeah, I definitely do feel a sense of responsibility. Here's how I look at it. If I didn't make the 911 call, none of this would happen.
The public outcry against the way the police handled the scene has been intense, with some people striking back at Brad and Bridger for calling the police. Even more disturbing, Bridger has received multiple death threats via social media, accusing him of being responsible for Victor's injuries.
I've had death threats. I have people from all over the country saying, I'm going to come and go to your work and I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to come and jump you. I'm going to make you learn.
Riddled with guilt about what happened, they wanted to talk to the family.
Like I said, I feel the guilt of it, and going over there is like, hey, yeah, I made the call that now puts your son in this situation, and I'm sorry.
As we were doing an interview with Victor's Aunt Anna about Victor's condition, Brad and Bridger for the first time came and apologized for what happened.
I had no idea this would happen. I'm so sorry.
I know.
Are you doing okay?
No.
I'm so sorry.
I believed terrible things when I made that call. I believed they were trained. I believe somebody talked to all those officers and told them how to deal with this. And I'm so sorry that I told you. I know Victor was not drunk. In my life experience, I look at someone acting that way, and that's what I thought could have been. I'm sorry for accusing that.
The problem is not the call. The problem is that the police act based on the call. Like, how can you react based on one call? Why you didn't came here? I have family that works in police, as a federal, as a correctional, as a state police, and all of them, as soon as they come to a place, they ask, what is the situation? And they did it.
Nothing can change what happened, but the hope is to take steps to ensure that it never happens again.
Thank you for talking to me. I didn't know if you were going to talk or not. Thank you. It was all there. It was all obvious.
But the police looks like they don't care. They don't care.
Well, I hope your family does well. Again, I'm sorry.
I'm very
Now, Doug, both the family and the people who called 911 wanting to share that moment with the community, and it has been such a hard thing, but when we see a little snippets like that, you see that the healing has started, and certainly it's going to be a very, very long road for the community of Pocatello, and especially for that family to heal from something like this.
And you see the emotion there, and you see the heartbreak there, and those two gentlemen wanting to say their condolences, but they didn't know how. And then they saw you there talking, and so they came over, and it gave them an opportunity that was, I'm sure, cathartic for both of them.
Right.
And that is helpful.
Yeah.
This has been a long week. This has been a very draining week, especially for this family, their friends, their neighbors, and everyone else. But you've been on this story since Saturday. You've been covering this day to day with developments happening nearly every day this week. And I'm sure it's been a drain on you, too.
You know, it really has, and when you cover something like this, you get so close to the people involved, and especially Anna and I got very close during this story, and watching her pain and her family's pain, and of Victor's mother and his sister, and knowing what they have to go through, and especially now, what they have to go through as they continue with this. It's something that's very hard.
It is very hard, but you've done an excellent job of covering this story, and we appreciate everything that you've done.
Thank you.
All right. Well, here's how the events, as they unfolded, came this week. So we're going to kind of show you a timeline of what happened from Saturday to now.
Yeah, and here's how it started. Now, on Saturday, April 5th, Pocatello police were called to the home near Old Town around 5:22 in the evening. They arrived just minutes later, and within 20 seconds, they had shot Perez 9 times. The shooting was caught on camera by neighbors Brad and Bridger Andres. Now, by the next day, Sunday, April 6th, Bridger's video had gone viral. Dozens of people gathered in front of the Pocatello police station to protest that shooting. Then Monday, Pocatello Police Chief Roger Shai spoke to the media to defend the shooting, but he refused to take any questions from the media, citing that ongoing investigation. Then the story started going national on Tuesday, April 8th, when ABC World News Tonight reported on it. And then yesterday, 5 days after the shooting, Pocatello Mayor Brian Blatt finally addressed the uproar over that shooting, issuing a press conference, a press release, and a pre-recorded YouTube statement. Also yesterday, the 911 caller and the young man who recorded the video met with the Perez family to express their grief. Now, this afternoon, when the news broke of Victor's condition, Pocatello Mayor Brian Blatt sent out a statement saying, quote, "Our thoughts and prayers are with the family and the loved ones during this unimaginably difficult time. We recognize the pain and the grief that this incident has caused in our community."
And they also have a GoFundMe that has been put up, and that GoFundMe has literally doubled just in the last couple of days. So people seeing this story are wanting to help out and are donating, and I think it's up over $25,000 now.
Yeah, that page, Justice for Victor, and that is a page that if anyone wants to donate to that, there's some kind of neat comments on it. One of the other mothers talked about how she had a son that had autism, and how this was affecting her as well.
All right, this story affecting a lot of people, obviously.
Yes, yeah. Now, for those of you that are wanting to attend, the time for the candlelight vigil has been changed. It's now being held at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning at the Portneuf Medical Center campus. Victor will then be taken off life support by his family after that vigil is finished. Local News 8 will be live streaming the vigil on our website if you want to watch. There's also a peaceful protest scheduled at the Pocatello City offices at 3 p.m. Now, Doug and I will be bringing you all of the coverage from the Pocatello events all day tomorrow.
And because of the importance of this story, we have created a special section on localnews8.com. That section covers all of the events that have taken place this week since the shooting.
Local News 8, your news leader.
A series of vigils today after a teen shot by Pocatello police dies. Good evening and welcome to Local News 8. Tonight, our community is mourning the loss of the autistic teenager who was shot by police 1 week ago today. Our Doug Long and Linda Larson spent all day in Pocatello. They're here now. Doug, Linda, so much going on today.
There was so much going on today, Will, and it was a very emotional day in Pocatello.
A lot of activities were going on at several locations all day long.
It started at 9 this morning at the Portneuf Medical Center with a candlelight vigil just before Victor's family took him off life support. A crowd of over 200 quietly sang, said prayers, and consoled each other as Victor peacefully passed away. People at a second candlelight vigil at Victor's home tonight, a more intimate crowd, gathered bringing flowers and voicing their support for the family. Victor's Aunt Ana Vasquez spoke out during that second vigil tonight. Here's what she had to say.
They need to give more training to the officers to deal with this type of situation. They just come based on a call, because that's what they did. They didn't even ask us what was the situation. They just react and they shoot to kill. They took 9 bullets out of my nephew. 9 bullets. Couple surgeries. And they amputate a leg. And it's something that is gonna be in my head for the rest of my life.
Anna talked for several minutes to about 75 supporters that were gathered around the home where Victor was shot. As you can see, she was extremely emotional as she talked to the crowd. The fence that separated Victor from the police today was turned into a wall of flowers, and candles lined the streets. This afternoon, hundreds of Victor supporters lined Yellowstone Avenue as well in front of the police station.
Yeah, they waved signs, chanted slogans, waved at honking traffic. But one protester I met had a message for both law enforcement and the community.
I'm here to ask the mayor to make sure that those officers, when they go out, they're trained properly so our children are safe. want those officers and their families to know that you have a community behind you too. We know that you serve us and you're out here trying your best. And we just want the best for our community. It's a time for change.
As we were covering the protest, people started noticing and pointing to two figures on top of one of the buildings.
Now, the building was adjacent to the city hall and the police station, and there, several individuals could be seen on top of the roof holding what appeared to be a long gun. Kristen Simone's son was a victim of a police shooting by Pocatello police in 2019. She saw the snipers and walked up to the doors of the police department where she asked why they were there.
There's officers around and surrounding and watching, so there are several officers out there. Okay.
And you've been doing this every protest, been having snipers on the building?
I don't know. This is our first protest we've had in the lot, so I don't know.
Is this normal protocol for you?
For today it is, yes.
Now, the city addressed the need for those snipers. According to a press release, they said that the deployment of officers was a precautionary measure that was taken in response to a credible threat communicated to the Pocatello Police Department by the FBI.
Now, the FBI informed PPD of one or more individuals with a known interest in targeting law enforcement officers who were believed to be in the area or near the area at the protest at City Hall. The statement continues. In light of this information, PPD implemented an elevated security posture, which included positioning trained officers at strategic vantage points. And you can read the entire statement right now at localnews8.com. Now, we were live today at about 5:30, and those protests got a little crazy. And here's a clip from earlier today.
Oh, again, we've got the protesters all around us right now. As you can see, this is a situation that is going to continue to be ongoing in our community, and certainly we're going to hope that the community can come together, but right now it looks like there's a long way to go before that happens.
Well, there is a rift, and it's being created right now, and so in the coming week, this is an opportunity now for the city of Pocatello and the police department to try to narrow that, bring it back together, and get folks to understand that they're doing their best to get to the bottom of this, and they're trying to do that.
All right, that's it for here. We'll send it back to you. Now, what you just heard and saw is an example of what can happen when some misinformation is spread through an already upset and angry crowd.
Now, as Linda and I were live on our 5:30 newscast, the crowd of protesters began to surround us, shouting demeaning slurs and insults and profanity. And as soon as the live shot ended, I was confronted by an angry protester. The reason? Well, someone mistakenly thought I was Pocatello Mayor Brian Bladd. Now, we were quickly able to diffuse the situation and make it clear we were news media there to cover the event. But to the credit of the protesters, once they understood that, they immediately apologized for the mistake and calmer heads prevailed.
Yeah, but this is an example of how quickly one wrong piece of information can really inflame an already tense situation.
Absolutely. Now, Paul, who you already heard from earlier in the newscast, was one of the protesters, but he had a very different approach, one of healing and understanding.
As an a father of an autistic child, we love you. We're out here fighting for you. We love you guys. You bring joy to us. That's the sad part of losing Victor, is part of that joyfulness got lost. You know, it's taken, and so we need to try to replace that joy with love, not hate. We need love, not hate. Our city needs to heal.
Now, people around the world are hearing about this shooting, and they all want to help out. The GoFundMe page Justice for Victor now has over $33,000 in it. Now, if you want to donate to Victor's family in this time of need, you can look at the link and find it at localnews8.com, and you can leave words of inspiration or words of prayer or anything you'd like to when you make your donation. You can also see all of the coverage of this story in its entirety on our website. You just click the graphic that says Pocatello Police Shooting.
Now, again, this morning started with a peaceful candlelight vigil as supporters of Victor Perez gathered at the Portneuf Medical Center. Here's a look.
Help us through this tragedy of Victor Perez and for the family. Only your grace Only your love and your omnipotent presence and your mercy can withstand the sorrow that those families are facing right now as they gather together at Portneuf Medical Center.
I'm here to support my son, who is autistic. He's on the spectrum, and this really touched him in a way that the good part of it is that now he wants to be part of positive change. It's just sad that we have this tragedy that has to trigger that change.
Folks need to learn more about it and with what they have. That way they can communicate with them more and be able to help process what they're going through and how to help them. Because if they don't, then something like this could possibly happen again somewhere.
I felt like I could trust the police to call them when something's happening, and now I don't want to call the police. I don't trust them. I'm honestly shocked that something like this would happen here.
In our small town where we have always felt so safe, we've born and raised here, it's never felt this way before. It's a very brand new feeling, like you see it on the news and in other places, but just not here.
These police officers that went to Victor Perez's home late that afternoon, you could have taken other measures. For God's sake, you could have taken other measures to prevent this tragedy that's taking place right now.
We're one big family. We need to stand together.